Hello and welcome back on my channel. And I'm always Stefania, and this evening we are going to cook one of our country's most famous, I think, dishes and recipes, which is lasagna. I am going to do a vegetarian version of our lasagna because we don't eat meat. For me this year will be my 20 years anniversary of being vegetarian, so yeah. And I am using, of course, all the ingredients apart from meat. And I am doing a recipe with pasta, so lasagna, our sauce, which is just tomato, and this cheese which is called scamorza and comes from not cow, but it's another animal, and mushrooms, and also peas. So it's a different recipe, and every time I am cooking lasagna, I am trying to do something different to find the perfect recipe for our family. So without further ado, we are starting with our first attempt to teach you how to cook Italian. So at first I've cooked the mushrooms because they have to become more soft. Now I am adding olive oil, and I have cooked mushrooms only in water. And now I will add olive oil and then peas. And we're going to cook a little bit more before adding the tomato sauce to the everything. So now you can see that I've added also the peas. And they're going in a simple sauce with olive oil and nothing else, because after we're adding the real tomato sauce. And now you can see there's the sauce. I used one bottle, which is 700 milliliters, and it's for 2 people, so for me and my husband. I know it's an odd recipe and a lot of Italians won't agree with it because lasagna should have meat, should be blah 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 blah, but I don't care. And also we are not using onions, for example, because we don't like it. And all the good taste and all the flavor comes from the mushrooms and the peas and the good tomato sauce. So maybe you will learn something different about Italian culture and about how to cook like a modern Italian vegetarian person. Okay, so while we are waiting for the sauce to become perfect, we can slice this scamorza. I think I'm going to use it whole. And in the meantime, I am talking to you about our lasagna. So as I was saying, in Italy, as you maybe can understand and maybe can anticipate, there are a lot of people which are very traditional about food. So I was saying before Chiano came on our table that are very traditional about food, very serious. I am not, because I think that also tradition can be changed if you can be different. So we are vegetarian, we don't eat meat or fish or anything like that. And a lot of our recipes in Italy have meat or fish in it. And it's good. If you want, you can eat meat, but I don't eat because I love animals. And so if you have something to say about my lasagna, please don't say it, unless it's a good comment. And maybe you can take inspiration from this recipe and do it at home. So I tried many different kind of lasagne. One of the vegetarian options in Italy is the pesto lasagne, but I don't like very much that version because I find it very heavy and difficult to process my digestion. It's not very pleased about that. So I have to invent something else, and I am trying different versions of the same recipe. So this is it. Today we were talking about the possibility to eat lasagne for our dinner and trying to understand what to use instead of other ingredients. And so we thought about the possibility to use mushrooms and peas. And I think it's a good idea because they are very delicate, but at the same time they give consistency to the whole lasagna. So I am trying to slice this scamorza, and it's very tasty, I can say. And also as something more about it, because it comes from lands free from our criminality. Maybe I can't say the word, so I am not saying, but you can maybe think about the famous criminality from Italy. And a lot of associations here in Italy are using the lands confiscated from this criminality to do something good. And this is the result, to help also local and little farmers to use the land for something good. So I've sliced everything, and now I am going to check the sauce. Another thing that maybe is a big misunderstanding of making and cooking lasagna is that you have to use fresh pasta. We don't use it, and a lot of people that I know make lasagne from this, so the dried pasta, and you don't have to pre-cook them. You just assemble everything, and you can put everything into the oven and it will cook on its own. So I think that the sauce is almost ready, and we can start to do the final steps of our lasagne. Okay, so now I am placing one layer of pasta, and then layer by layer I'm adding the sauce and the cheese to make everything perfect and tasty. So as you can see, this is the pasta. It's dried, and I just place everything into the pan. Can I call it pan? And then I'm adding the other ingredients. I think it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. So the size is perfect. You can see here there's the pasta, and then I'm adding the cheese, but before I am turning off the heat and I am taking the sauce to do everything and make everything together. So start by placing the cheese. And now we're adding the sauce here. As you can see, has a lot of veggies into it, which is good. So at the same time you're eating pasta, something very tasty and warm for this winter time, but also you're eating your veggies. And we're doing all the layers like that. So this is the final result. Now I had heated the oven at about 210 degrees Celsius. Sorry if you don't use Celsius system, but here we use it. And they're going into the oven for about 25 minutes. But you have to take a look here and there to understand if everything is going in the right direction.
A few moments later.
So this is the final result. As you can see, it's cooked, so it's perfect. And now we're going to taste it and to give our vote about our lasagna. It's the first time I'm using this recipe, so I don't know if it's tasty. I hope so, but I think yes, it will be very good. So the pasta is real good. I just tasted it, as you've seen. And now we're going to enjoy it. I'm going to ask to my husband what he thinks about our mushroom and peas lasagna, and buon appetito!
Best lasagna ever.